Welcome to Toxic from Reddit, where real toxic relationship stories come to life. Here you'll hear true stories from people who experience toxic relationships from different perspectives. Partners dealing with cheating, manipulation, gaslighting, red flags, and all the emotional chaos that comes with loving someone who hurts you. Stories of betrayal, of finding strength to leave, of discovering the truth, of heartbreak, of healing, and the raw reality of toxic love. This is a real story, shared anonymously on Reddit. Some details have been changed to protect the identity of the people involved. Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. I'm 36 years old and I live in Denver, Colorado. And I need to tell you about the most devastating betrayal that has destroyed not just my marriage, but my entire family, which is that I just discovered that my younger sister has been having an affair with my husband for over a year. And what makes it even worse is that my parents knew about it. My brother knew about it. And they all decided not to tell me because they didn't want to hurt me or cause drama in the family. And I only found out because I came home early from a business trip and caught them together in my bed, in my house. And now my entire life has fallen apart. My marriage is over. My relationship with my sister is destroyed. And I don't know if I can ever forgive my family for keeping this secret from me and allowing me to be humiliated and betrayed for over a year. I'm going to tell you this entire story from the beginning because there's so much history and so many layers of betrayal that you need to understand. My husband's name is Marcus. He's 38 years old, and we've been married for 10 years, together for 12 years. My sister's name is Kelsey. She's 31 years old, and we used to be incredibly close. Like growing up, we were best friends. We told each other everything, and I trusted her completely. I grew up in a family with 4 kids. I'm the oldest. Then there's my brother Nathan, who is 34, then Kelsey, who is 31, and then my youngest brother Ryan, who is 28. We grew up in a middle-class family in Colorado. My dad worked as an accountant and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we were a close-knit family, or at least I thought we were. As the oldest child, I always felt responsible for my siblings, like I helped take care of them when they were younger. I helped them with homework. I gave them advice about relationships and life, and I was always there for them. Kelsey and I were especially close. Like, even though there's a 5-year age gap between us, we were like best friends. We would talk on the phone every day. We would go shopping together. And we would confide in each other about everything. I met Marcus when I was 24 years old. I was working as a marketing manager for a tech company, and Marcus was working in sales at the same company. Marcus and I started dating, and I fell in love with him quickly. Like, he was charming and funny and ambitious, and he treated me really well. After we had been dating for about 6 months, I introduced Marcus to my family, and everyone seemed to like him. Kelsey was 19 years old when she met Marcus. She was in college at the time, and I remember that she thought Marcus was great. Like, she told me that I was lucky to have found such a great guy. Marcus got along well with my whole family. Like, he would come to family dinners, he would hang out with my brothers and watch sports, and my parents really liked him. Marcus and I got engaged after dating for 2 years, and we got married in a beautiful wedding with all of our family and friends. Kelsey was one of my bridesmaids, and I remember feeling so happy that day. Like, I felt like I had everything I wanted: a loving husband, a close family, and a bright future ahead of me. The first few years of our marriage were really good. Like, Marcus and I were happy. We bought a house, we both advanced in our careers, and we had a good life together. We talked about having kids, and we decided to wait a few years until we were more established in our careers and more financially stable. Kelsey graduated from college and moved back to Denver, and she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do with her life. Kelsey had majored in communications, but she was having trouble finding a job in her field, and she was working as a waitress while she looked for something better. I tried to help Kelsey. Like, I would send her job postings, I would help her with her resume, and I would give her advice about interviews. About 5 years ago, Kelsey went through a bad breakup with her longtime boyfriend, and she was really devastated. Like, she was depressed and crying all the time, and I was worried about her. I invited Kelsey to stay with Marcus and me for a few weeks while she got back on her feet, and Kelsey accepted. Having Kelsey stay with us was fine at first. Like, she was going through a hard time and I wanted to be there for her. Marcus was supportive too. Like, he would try to cheer Kelsey up, he would make her laugh, and he would encourage her to get out of the house and do things. I was grateful that Marcus was being so kind to my sister. After a few weeks, Kelsey seemed to be doing better and she moved back into her own apartment. But Kelsey and Marcus had developed a friendship during the time she stayed with us. Like, they would text each other funny memes, they would joke around when we all hung out together, and I thought it was nice that my husband and my sister got along so well. Over the next few years, Kelsey became a regular presence in our lives. Like, she would come over for dinner at least once a week. She would join us for weekend activities, and she became close with Marcus. I never thought anything of it because Kelsey was my sister and Marcus was my husband, and I trusted both of them completely. About 2 years ago, Kelsey finally got a good job working in marketing for a local company, and she seemed to be doing really well. Like, she was making good money, she was dating someone new, and she seemed happy. I was proud of her, and I felt like she had finally gotten her life on track. But looking back now, I can see that around this time, Kelsey started acting differently around Marcus. Like, she would laugh a little too hard at his jokes. She would touch his arm when they talked, and she would always want to sit next to him at family gatherings. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought Kelsey was being friendly, but now I realized that she was flirting with him. About a year and a half ago, I started noticing that Marcus was on his phone a lot more than usual. Like, he would be texting constantly, and he would turn his phone away from me when I walked by. When I asked him who he was texting, he would say it was work stuff, or that he was texting his friends. And I believed him because I had no reason not to trust him. I also noticed that Marcus started working late more often. Like, he would say that he had meetings or projects that required him to stay at the office until 8 or 9 p.m. I was annoyed because it meant we weren't spending as much time together, but I tried to be understanding because I knew that Marcus was working hard to advance in his career. Around this same time, Kelsey started being less available to hang out with me. Like, when I would call her to make plans, she would say that she was busy with work or that she had other plans. I was a little hurt, but I figured that Kelsey was just busy with her own life, and I tried not to take it personally. What I didn't know at the time was that Marcus and Kelsey were spending time together without me, that when Marcus said he was working late, he was actually meeting up with Kelsey, and that when Kelsey said she was busy, she was actually with Marcus. I had no idea that the two people I trusted most in the world were betraying me. About a year ago, my mom made a comment that seemed strange at the time. Like, we were at a family dinner and my mom said something about how Marcus and Kelsey seemed to have become really good friends, and there was something in her tone that seemed off. I asked my mom what she meant, and she said, "Oh, nothing. I just think it's nice that they get along so well." I didn't think much of it at the time, but now I realize that my mom was trying to hint at something, that she knew about the affair, and she was trying to get me to see it without directly telling me. But I was completely oblivious. I trusted Marcus and Kelsey completely, and it never occurred to me that they could be having an affair. About 6 months ago, I started noticing that Marcus was being distant with me. Like, he wasn't as affectionate, he wasn't as interested in spending time with me, and our sex life had decreased significantly. When I tried to talk to him about it, Marcus would say that he was just stressed about work, that he was tired, and that I was overthinking things. I suggested that we go to couples counseling, and Marcus said that we didn't need counseling, that our marriage was fine, and that I just needed to relax. I felt like Marcus was gaslighting me, like I knew something was wrong, but he was making me feel like I was crazy for thinking that. I also noticed that Kelsey was acting weird around me, like she seemed guilty or uncomfortable when we hung out, and she would avoid making eye contact with me. When I asked her if everything was okay, Kelsey would say that everything was fine, that she was just stressed about work. About 3 months ago, I was having lunch with my brother Nathan, and I was telling him about how I felt like something was off with Marcus, and Nathan got this uncomfortable look on his face. I asked Nathan what was wrong, and he said nothing, but I could tell he was hiding something. I pushed him, and I said, "Nathan, if you know something, you need to tell me." And Nathan said that he didn't know anything, but that if I was worried about my marriage, I should talk to Marcus. Now I realize that Nathan knew about the affair, and he was trying to get me to confront Marcus without directly telling me what was happening. But at the time, I just felt confused and frustrated, like everyone was acting weird and no one would tell me what was going on. 2 weeks ago, I had to go on a business trip to San Francisco for a conference, and I was supposed to be gone for 3 days. Marcus knew about the trip, and he seemed almost excited that I was going to be gone, which should have been a red flag. But I was so busy preparing for the conference that I didn't think about it. I went to San Francisco, and the first day of the conference went well. But that night I started feeling really sick, like I had a terrible headache and I felt nauseous, and I realized that I was coming down with something. I decided to skip the second day of the conference and fly home early so I could rest and recover. I didn't tell Marcus that I was coming home early because I wanted to surprise him, and also because I was feeling so sick that I just wanted to get home and get into bed. I took an early morning flight back to Denver, and I got home around noon. When I walked into my house, I immediately noticed that there were women's shoes by the door that weren't mine, and there was a purse on the couch that I didn't recognize. My heart started racing, and I felt this sense of dread, like I knew something terrible was about to happen. I walked upstairs to my bedroom, and I could hear voices and sounds coming from inside. And when I opened the door, I saw Marcus and Kelsey in my bed together. They were so caught up in what they were doing that they didn't even notice me at first. And I just stood there in shock, unable to move or speak, Finally, I screamed, and Marcus and Kelsey jumped apart and looked at me with expressions of horror and panic. Kelsey started crying and saying, "Oh my God, Amanda, I'm so sorry." And Marcus was trying to cover himself and saying, "Amanda, I can explain." But I couldn't hear anything they were saying. Like there was this ringing in my ears and I felt like I was going to pass out. I turned around and ran out of the house, and I got in my car and just drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get away. I ended up at a park, and I just sat in my car and cried. Like I couldn't believe what I had just seen. I couldn't believe that my husband and my sister had betrayed me like this. After about an hour, I called my best friend Jessica, and I told her what had happened, and Jessica was horrified. Jessica told me to come to her house, and I drove to her place, and she let me stay with her. Jessica helped me start to process what had happened, and she encouraged me to call a lawyer and to start protecting myself. I called a divorce lawyer, and I made an appointment for the next day. Then I called my parents, and I told them what had happened. And my mom started crying and saying, "Oh, Amanda, I'm so sorry. We didn't want you to find out this way." I said, "What do you mean you didn't want me to find out this way? Did you know about this?" And there was silence on the other end of the phone. Finally, my dad said, "Amanda, we need to talk. Can you come over to the house?" And I said, "No. You need to tell me right now. Did you know that Marcus and Kelsey were having an affair?" My dad admitted that yes, they had known for about 6 months, that my brother Nathan had seen Marcus and Kelsey together at a restaurant and had told my parents, and they had confronted Kelsey about it. I was absolutely devastated. I said, "So you've known for 6 months and you didn't tell me. You let me continue to be married to Marcus. You let me continue to have a relationship with Kelsey. You let me be humiliated and betrayed, and you said nothing." My mom tried to explain. She said that they didn't want to hurt me, that they thought maybe the affair would end on its own, and that they didn't want to be the ones to destroy my marriage. I was furious. I said, "You didn't want to hurt me? How is finding out that my entire family has been lying to me for 6 months not hurtful? How is walking in on my husband and my sister in my bed not hurtful?" I told my parents that I didn't want to talk to them, and I hung up the phone. Marcus had been calling and texting me constantly, begging me to talk to him, saying that he was sorry and that he wanted to explain. I finally responded and told him that I wanted him out of the house, that I was filing for divorce, and that he should communicate with me only through lawyers from now on. Kelsey also tried to contact me. She sent me long text messages saying that she was sorry, that she never meant for this to happen, that it just happened and she couldn't stop it. She said that she loved Marcus, and that they hadn't planned for this to happen, but that they had fallen in love and they couldn't help their feelings. I was disgusted by Kelsey's messages, like she was trying to make it sound like this was some romantic love story, when in reality she had betrayed her own sister, she had destroyed my marriage, and she had been lying to me for over a year. I blocked Kelsey's number because I couldn't stand to hear from her. I met with the divorce lawyer, and the lawyer said that because Marcus and I don't have children, and because we live in a no-fault divorce state, the divorce should be relatively straightforward. The lawyer advised me to document everything, to gather financial records, and to make a list of all of our assets so we could divide them fairly. The lawyer also asked me if I wanted to pursue any kind of alienation of affection claim against Kelsey, which is a legal claim in some states where you can sue someone for interfering in your marriage. But the lawyer said that Colorado doesn't recognize alienation of affection claims, so that wasn't an option. I've been staying with Jessica for the past 2 weeks, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with my life. I feel like everything I thought I knew was a lie. Like my marriage was a lie. My relationship with my sister was a lie. And even my relationship with my parents was a lie because they were willing to keep this secret from me. I've been going through all of the memories from the past year, and I'm realizing that there were so many signs that I missed. Like there were times when Marcus and Kelsey would exchange looks that seemed meaningful, times when they would both be unavailable at the same time, times when Marcus would mention something that Kelsey had told him that she hadn't told me. I feel so stupid for not seeing it. Like, how could I have been so blind? How could I have trusted them so completely when they were betraying me? My therapist, who I started seeing this week, has told me that I'm not stupid, that Marcus and Kelsey were deliberately deceiving me, and that it's not my fault that I didn't see it. My therapist has also explained that what my family did by keeping the affair secret from me is called complicity, and that it's a form of betrayal in itself. My therapist said that my family should have told me about the affair as soon as they found out, and that by keeping it secret, they were prioritizing their own comfort over my well-being. I've been thinking about my relationship with my parents, and I'm so angry at them. Like they chose to protect Kelsey and to avoid family drama rather than protecting me and telling me the truth. My mom has been calling me constantly, leaving voicemails saying that she's sorry, that she made a mistake, and that she wants to talk to me and explain. But I don't want to hear her explanations, because there's no explanation that makes what she did okay. My mom knew that my husband was cheating on me with my sister, and she said nothing, and that's unforgivable. My brother Nathan has also reached out to me, and he's apologized for not telling me about the affair when he first found out. Nathan said that he told my parents because he thought they would tell me, and that when they decided not to tell me, he felt like it wasn't his place to go against their decision. Nathan said that he regrets not telling me directly, and that he's sorry for the pain I'm going through. I appreciate Nathan's apology, but I'm still hurt that he kept this secret from me for months. I told Nathan that I need some time and space from the family, and that I'm not ready to have a relationship with any of them right now. My youngest brother Ryan apparently didn't know about the affair, and when he found out what happened, he called me immediately and said that he was horrified and that he was on my side. Ryan has been supportive, and he's one of the only family members that I'm still talking to. I've been thinking about Marcus and about our 10 years of marriage, and I'm trying to figure out if there were signs earlier that I missed, if Marcus was always capable of this kind of betrayal, or if something changed. Looking back, I can see that Marcus was always a little bit selfish, like he would prioritize his own needs and desires over mine, but I always made excuses for him or tried to be understanding. I've been thinking about Kelsey and about our relationship growing up, and I'm realizing that Kelsey always had a jealous streak. Like she would get jealous when I achieved things, or when I had things that she didn't have. When I got into a good college, Kelsey made comments about how I was the favorite child. When I got engaged to Marcus, Kelsey made comments about how I was so lucky to find someone like him. Now I'm wondering if Kelsey's affair with Marcus was motivated by jealousy. Like maybe she wanted to take something that was mine. Maybe she wanted to prove that she could have what I had. My therapist has suggested that this is possible, and that some people have a pattern of wanting what other people have, especially siblings. I've been thinking about the affair itself, and about how long it's been going on, and I've been trying to piece together the timeline. Based on what my parents said, the affair has been going on for at least a year, maybe longer. That means that for at least a year, Marcus and Kelsey have been lying to me, sneaking around behind my back, and betraying me. I've been thinking about all of the family gatherings over the past year, all of the holidays and birthdays and dinners where Marcus and Kelsey were both there, acting normal, acting like nothing was wrong, and I feel sick. How could they sit across from me at Thanksgiving dinner, knowing what they were doing, and act like everything was fine? I've been thinking about my future, and about what my life is going to look like now, and it's scary because I have to rebuild everything. I have to get divorced. I have to figure out where I'm going to live. I have to figure out how to have a relationship with my family after this betrayal, and I have to figure out how to trust people again. I've been thinking about whether I'll ever be able to have a relationship with Kelsey again, and right now the answer is absolutely not. Like what she did is unforgivable, and I don't think I'll ever be able to look at her the same way. Kelsey didn't just have an affair with a random man. She had an affair with my husband, and that's a betrayal that goes beyond just infidelity. It's a betrayal of our sisterhood, of our family bond, of everything we shared growing up. I've been thinking about my parents, and about whether I'll be able to forgive them for keeping the affair secret from me, and I don't know. Part of me understands that they were in a difficult position, that they didn't want to be the ones to destroy my marriage, but another part of me feels like they should have prioritized my well-being over their own comfort. My therapist has suggested that I write a letter to my parents expressing how I feel, not necessarily to send to them, but just to help me process my emotions. I've been working on that letter, and it's been helpful to put my feelings into words, to articulate exactly how their actions hurt me and betrayed my trust. I've been thinking about Marcus, and about whether he's going to end up with Kelsey. And honestly, I hope they do end up together, because they deserve each other. They're both liars and cheaters, and I hope they're miserable together. I hope that Marcus cheats on Kelsey the way he cheated on me, and I hope that Kelsey realizes that a relationship that starts with betrayal is never going to be a healthy relationship. I've been thinking about the practical aspects of the divorce, like dividing our assets, selling the house, and separating our finances. Marcus and I own our house together, and we have joint bank accounts and retirement accounts, and it's going to be complicated to separate everything. My lawyer has said that we should be able to reach a settlement agreement without going to trial, but that it's going to take some time. I've been thinking about work, and about how I'm going to function at my job while going through this divorce and dealing with all of this emotional trauma. I've been taking some time off work, using my sick days and vacation days, but eventually I'm going to have to go back, and I'm worried about how I'm going to focus and be productive when my personal life is in shambles. I've been thinking about my friends, and about how supportive they've been. Like Jessica has been amazing, letting me stay with her, listening to me cry and vent, and helping me with practical things like finding a lawyer and looking for a new place to live. My other friends have also been supportive, reaching out to check on me, offering to help in any way they can, and I'm grateful for them. I've been thinking about dating again eventually, and about whether I'll ever be able to trust someone enough to be in a relationship again. And right now, I can't even imagine it. The idea of being vulnerable with someone, of trusting someone with my heart, is terrifying after what Marcus did to me. My therapist has said that it's normal to feel this way after a betrayal like this, and that with time and healing, I'll be able to trust again. My therapist has also said that I should take as much time as I need before I even think about dating, that I need to focus on healing and rebuilding my life first. I've been thinking about the future and about what I want my life to look like 5 years from now, and I know that I want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by people who love me and who I can trust, and I want to have rebuilt my life in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling. I know that getting to that place is going to take time and work, but I'm committed to doing the work, to going to therapy, to processing my emotions, to setting boundaries with my family, and to building a life that I'm proud of. I've been thinking about forgiveness and about whether I'll ever be able to forgive Marcus and Kelsey for what they did. And right now, I don't think I will. What they did was so cruel and so selfish, and it caused me so much pain, and I don't think that's something I can forgive. But I also know that holding on to anger and resentment is only going to hurt me, so I'm working on letting go of those feelings. Not for Marcus and Kelsey's sake, but for my own sake. I'm working on accepting what happened, on grieving the loss of my marriage and my relationship with my sister, and on moving forward with my life. I've been thinking about the lessons I've learned from this experience, and there are so many. I've learned that you can't always trust the people you love, that sometimes the people closest to you are capable of the deepest betrayals. I've learned that it's important to pay attention to red flags and to trust your instincts when something feels off. I've learned that family loyalty isn't always what you think it is, and that sometimes family members will prioritize their own comfort over your well-being. I've learned that you can survive even the most devastating betrayals, and that you're stronger than you think you are. I've been thinking about other people who might be going through similar situations, who might have discovered that their spouse is cheating with a family member, or who might have family members who kept secrets from them, and I want to tell them that they're not alone, that what they're feeling is valid, and that they will get through this. I want to tell them to prioritize their own well-being, to set boundaries with people who have betrayed them, and to not feel guilty about protecting themselves. I want to tell them that they deserve better, that they deserve to be with people who are honest and loyal, and that they shouldn't settle for anything less. Thank you for reading my story, and if you've been through something similar, if your spouse cheated with a family member, if your family kept secrets from you about infidelity, if you've had to rebuild your life after a devastating betrayal, or if you've had to set boundaries with toxic family members, I would love to hear how you dealt with it and where you are now. I'm still in the early stages of my divorce, still processing the betrayal, still figuring out how to move forward, but I'm hopeful that I'll come out of this stronger and that I'll build a life that's better than the one I had before.